Schlockmeister fans. This is a re-review from my previous channel. It is a cool movie called Strange Invaders. Let's check it out. As you can see, our movie starts out in 1958, a simpler time. But as a couple makes out in a car down below, they got some out-of-this-world visitors. After he drops off his girlfriend and goes home himself, this happens. Fast forward 25 years later, his ex-wife is dropping off their child. That's Paul LeMat and Dinah Scarwood.
My mother died. I've got to go back.
Well, she's gone for a few days back to Centerville, and she never came back. So he goes looking for her.
No, I've lived here all my life. Maybe you got the wrong time.
I don't think that's possible.
Well, he wanders around Centerville for a little while, and it's a little weird. There's not a lot of people there, and the ones that are there are a little strange. And then a car blows up. So he bolts out of town quickly and then sees this on his way out. And if you haven't figured out by now, the residents of Centerville are aliens. He contacts some authorities.
This is odd. According to what we have, no one has lived in that town since 1958, when it was destroyed by a tornado.
Well, while walking the streets, he sees the vendors, and there's a National Enquirer type magazine that talks about alien invaders, and it looks like the invader that he saw in Centerville. So he visits Nancy Allen, the author of the article.
Tim, could you come here a minute, please? I'd like you to hear this. Mr. Bigelow here has just seen an alien.
Well, Nancy Allen plays Betty. Back at her apartment, she let this Avon woman in,
Hello?
who had passed out,
Are you okay?
let her use the bathroom. Something's a little odd about her. And when the maintenance guy, Wallace Shawn, comes by, he gets zapped.
Girl?
She finds his body, but when she goes to check, after she calls the police,
Normally when someone's been electrocuted, there's a body.
I think they followed me and led them right to you. Anyway, you published the photograph.
of course, they tell him that they made up that story and just used a photograph that somebody sent them. Suddenly, out of the blue, Margaret comes home.
What happened to you? Tried to find you.
Oh, God, I'm so sorry.
She's an alien.
You've got to get to her. You've got to hide her. For the next
Apparently, they had a daughter together, and the daughter's half alien, obviously. Betty has another run-in with that Avon lady she saw earlier. This time she gets her. And clearly she knows they're not human also.
We have an agreement with them. We've known about them for a long time.
Truth comes out.
They provide us with certain advantages, and we provide them with a place to live. But it hasn't been easy.
Well, their daughter Elizabeth has been staying with Grandma. I believe that's Paul LeMat's dad, or mom. But the aliens find her, kidnap her. They intend to take her back because the aliens are leaving in a couple days after 25 years. They go visit Willie, Michael Lerner. He's the one that gave them that photo years ago. He's in a mental ward. He tells the story of what happened to him 25 years ago.
I must have gone over this a million times in my mind. Why didn't I just go to sleep? I don't know. It's probably all that driving.
He walked into a church and stumbled upon the aliens doing one of those blue ball things, which obviously we know now is what they turn people into. He goes back to the hotel and he finds his kids being balled and his wife too. That's his family.
are almost over.
I'm going there right now.
The three of them head to Centerville.
They came here 25 years ago today, and now they're leaving.
Don't move!
Are you crazy?
Well, they're going in because he's got to get Elizabeth, his daughter.
She does not belong there. Please let her stay. She's so very happy here.
It's time, Margaret.
Their leader gives a speech.
You'll all be returning with us. The information you carry with you will help our leaders to make a final decision as to our future and the future of this planet. Your daughter is about to travel very far away. It will be very difficult for her to...
Maybe, maybe not. Captured again, and then Willie gets bald. So they got recaptured, obviously.
Neither do I, honey.
Mommy, help us!
Well, Mommy says, do what I told you now. Apparently she's got some alien powers. Elizabeth and Daddy jump out. And I guess they're home free. And all the people that had been turned into balls in this town 25 years ago are returned. And they look like they did 25 years ago. Including Willie's wife and kids. Even though he's now 25 years older than her.
She'll be back.
And that's our film. Alright, let's talk about Strange Invaders. This is one of the oldest movies I have in my collection in terms of I've had it the longest time. One of the earliest movies I taped, first movies I taped, it was on a BASF tape, which beta tape with The Unseen and Savage Harvest, two other movies I've also reviewed on this channel. It came out in 1983. Now, if I recall correctly, the producers or filmmakers, director, I'm not sure, of this movie were going to make a Strange trilogy. They started with Strange Behavior, another movie I've reviewed, and then they did this one, and they never made the third one because this didn't do very well at the box office, which is too bad because this is a really good movie. It starts out in 1958. There's aliens have come down from outer space, and they attack this town of Centerville, Illinois, and they turn people into these blue glowing balls. Now, fast forward 25 years later, Paul LeMat, who is divorced from Diana Scarwood, she drops off their daughter to go visit her mother in Centerville, which she says, we don't know that, but she's an alien. It turns out the aliens are going home after 25 years. Their time here, their exploration is done, and it's time to take their knowledge back home with them. Well, it turns out they want Elizabeth because they gave birth, or she gave birth to Paul LeMat's daughter. Now, Paul LeMat is not an alien. He doesn't know that his daughter's half alien, so nonetheless, they want to take her back. Dinah Scarwood, mom, doesn't want her to go, so when she disappears for a while, Paul LeMat goes to Centerville to try to find her. Everything gets weird there. He runs into an alien. He gets out of town. What the hell? Then Dinah Scarwood comes back and says, you got to hide Elizabeth. They want her. They got to take her. And that's what happens. The aliens come. They kidnap her. Now, meanwhile, he ends up teaming up with Nancy Allen, who writes for this National Enquirer type magazine. They did a report on the aliens. Of course, she says we made the whole story up. We found a picture that some guy had dropped off years ago, and we used that. But the story is bullshit. Well, it turns out the story was real, of course. Michael Lerner, who plays Willie, he dropped off that photo in 1958. He was in Centerville that night that the aliens came down. His whole family, his two kids and his wife, were turned into these blue balls. He discovered it but managed to escape before they could get him. Now, his family disappeared. They probably think he had something to do with it, so he's been in a mental institution for 25 years. So they go to see him, and he tells them the story. He decides to escape with them. They all go to Centerville. They run into the government, and Louise Fletcher's one of those people, and they basically take the guns out and fight their way in. So they're inside now. They're trying to rescue her. They get captured. The alien says, the aliens are giving a big speech. We're all going to go back, blah, blah, blah. We're taking Elizabeth with us, blah, blah, blah. Well, Elizabeth doesn't want to go. And Dinah Scarwood basically says, Elizabeth, do what mommy taught you now. And then she zaps her finger and blows a hole in the side of the ship. She and Paul Le Mat jump out and they escape and they're good to go. The ship takes off. And that's it. All the blue balls that have been turned into balls in 1958 come back out and they get reformed into their human selves. And they look like they did in 1958. So Michael Lerner is reunited with his family finally, but his family are still kids, and he's 25 years older than his wife. So there you go. But anyway, that's the movie, Strange Invaders. It's a cool film. It's kind of one of these lost, forgotten relics from the 80s. It used to show up on cable quite a bit. That's where I watched it quite a bit. Then I taped it, and I watched it quite a bit more. But it's got some halfway decent effects for what it is. It's got some actual kind of little scary stuff in there, too. But it's cool. I really like this movie, and I hope more people get to see this movie. It's kind of one of these films that if you saw it once, you probably didn't forget it, and you might be thinking, what the hell was that movie? Well, that movie is Strange Invaders, and you should buy it. So I will leave a link down below to buy it from Amazon. Click it and buy it because it's a cool movie. I think it's been released on Blu-ray now. I'm not 100% sure on that, but if it is, I'll have that link down below. If not, just get the DVD. I'm guessing this DVD for Midnight Movies is probably pretty cheap, too. So anyway, regardless, just find the movie, get it, buy it, and take it home and watch it and enjoy it because I recommend it. So check it out. Let me know what you think about it. Leave some comments. Strange Invaders. Bye.